How do we measure our spiritual maturity? How do we know that we have grown in our Christian life? Our faith is not based simply on some philosophical considerations of the gospel. It is true that reason is important for us in understanding our faith. But faith goes beyond reason. And therefore, if we just base our faith on philosophy, then indeed we will never be able to arrive at the fullness of faith. If our faith is just founded on reason alone, then there are many things we will never be able to explain. How do you explain the incarnation? And so too for the resurrection, the Holy Trinity, God the Father, the Son, and the Spirit, three persons in one being. How do you know? How to prove? Again, that requires faith. The sacraments requires faith. That whenever the sacraments are celebrated, Jesus is present. So, my dear brothers and sisters, just a philosophical faith alone will not help you to arrive at the Christian maturity of what faith entails. This faith must be a personal faith, not just an intellectual faith. Even the devil can confess that Jesus is the Son of God. So just because you confess that Jesus is the Son of God, that does not make you a Christian. That does not make you a Catholic. There is a great distinction between believing in God and believe God. Believing in God means to say we trust the person entirely. We surrender our entire life to Him. That is why in the Creed we say, I believe in one God. We never say, I believe one God. To believe God means simply to believe it as an intellectual data. This one do not requires faith, no personal commitment. So there are many Catholics, they only have intellectual faith about Christ. It's all about some information, but they don't subscribe to the information, the objective faith, in a personal manner. The devil knows the truth, but they do not worship Jesus. They know Jesus is the Son of God. Did they bow down in worship? No. And same thing too, there are many Catholics. There are many non-Catholics as well. They know about Jesus. They have studied about Him. But they never confess that He is the Son of God. It must be a personal faith. If you think that you have Christian maturity, then you need to be conscious of your identity. And what is our identity? Children of God, sons and daughters of God. If you think you have grown in Christian maturity, you must be able to judge everything through the Spirit of God. How do you judge the values of the world? If your values of the world are your values, then surely you don't understand. You don't have the Spirit of God in you. To say that we have grown in Christian maturity means to say from now on, everything we look at, every discernment is always from the perspective of Christ. What does Jesus think? What would Jesus do? How does He respond? That is what it means. So when we see everything from the Spirit of Christ, we look at every situation, especially today, the values that the world are promoting, to know whether they are truly good for us or apparently good only, but will destroy us in the long run. We must have the Spirit of God. Without the Spirit of God resting in us, we will never be able to see things through the Spirit of God. That is why it's very important for us. We must always be receptive to the Spirit of God. That is why we need to keep ourselves pure, keep ourselves connected with the Lord through prayer, through the reading of the Word of God, so that we will put on the mind of Christ. If a person who doesn't pray, who doesn't make himself available to God, how can he think like God? He cannot. You only read the newspapers, read the internet, everything about the world, from the world. If we truly want to cultivate the Spirit of Jesus in our heart, then we need to be in touch with His Spirit through the Word of God, through the Eucharist, through contemplation. So, my dear brothers and sisters, how do you know whether you have truly grown in Christian maturity? The answer is clear. Do you really believe that you are the son and daughter of God? Have you claimed your identity? If you are proud of your identity, conscious of this identity, you will live as a child of God, as a son of God, a daughter of God, without fear, because you know that the Father will always be with you.